What's going on, everybody? So today I want to go over the indisputable most fun rogue skills slash build combinations that I have been running lately. And as you can see from my gold up there, I literally just sit back, relax, try out a bunch of different skills just for the heck of it, because we are getting close to that season 1. And obviously, I am joking a little bit when I say indisputable, because no matter what you say in any video, someone will always say, oh, but this build is more fun. I can't believe you would say something like this. Obviously, it's all opinion. If you enjoy something, play it. But as for me, my favorite build so far, and this is actually something that I've really started to dive into a little bit more, has been Rain of Arrows. Probably, some people might not have been expecting that. It is such a trash build is the only problem compared to a lot of the other options you have. But using the Word of Hakan amulet to give this triple imbuement and running in farming with this, it's actually not bad. It's actually not a terrible Rain of Arrows AoE build. When I say it's absolutely trash, I mean when we start doing like nightmare dungeons that are even your level, can be a little tricky. So even doing like tier 40s, tier 50s, it's gonna struggle a lot. But Rain of Arrows with triple imbuement has been just incredibly fun. Comboing this with Twisting Blades, Flurry, or even another ranged skill can be really solid. I personally prefer a melee skill because it does come out and rain down from you. So the closer you are to your enemies, the more hits it will basically apply. So definitely my favorite build so far. But now that we're going to dive into some better builds here, hopefully this is going to interest some of you more so. And the next build that I think I've had just the absolute most fun with is Twisting Blades. Not going to spend a ton of time talking about this because, well, I've played Twisting Blades. Everyone knows Twisting Blades. I personally prefer, there's a lot of options, but you have Trapper Twisting Blades, you have Poison Imbuement Twisting Blades, even has some other options with Twisting Blades, like comboing it with Rain of Arrows, for example. I personally prefer the Poison Imbuement Twisting Blades more so than any other option. I find that the single turret burst damage is just so crazy high that when you're coming in and you're blasting a boss, I love seeing like the 3, 4, 5 million poison ticks on the boss, which has been absolutely super fun. And then also comboing it with Shadow Clone and duplicating the infinite poison imbuement is super fun as well. Again, that's kind of how you get a lot of those really high poison imbuement ticks, but super fun build. Definitely something that I've really enjoyed. The next option in terms of builds that I've really kind of, I guess you'd say, dove into recently, Rapid Fire comes in at number 3 for me. Rapid Fire is something that I've really had a ton of fun with the combo points, and shooting out 9 arrows just feels so clean, so fun. The big kicker for this one is that I initially played Rapid Fire as if I was trying to play a ranged build. That's the mistake, guys. You can't play ranged skills as ranged builds. You have to play ranged skills as melee builds. And what I mean by that is with Barrage and Rapid Fire, oftentimes a lot of the passives that are exceptionally good, like Siphoning Strikes, for example, or even close damage reduction like the one before that, Sturdy, these are the ways you get a lot of value out of the rogue passives. And if you're playing like a Rapid Fire build or a Barrage build and you're trying to shoot from afar, but you're not going to get value out of a lot of these passives, which is really unfortunate. And that tends to lean towards trying to play like a melee version of these builds. And what I mean by melee version is getting up in their face, shooting the Rapid Fire, and then you also get the trigger from Siphoning Strikes. You also have things like Shadow Step and Dash, which can be very nice and put you into the enemies anyways. And so running like a ranged build is kind of awkward, right? Trying to get distant damage is awkward when you have Shadow Step as your CC break. So I found that Rapid Fire and Barrage actually have been extremely fun. Rapid Fire a little bit more so, and the main kicker for me was that I played it as a melee build rather than a range build, and that has really changed my perspective over the last few weeks of playing a lot of the different builds, which comes to my next option here between Barrage and Penetrating Shot. Ooh, I'm not a Penetrating Shot enjoyer. I tried it. I actually had a lot of fun with it initially, but you know, the kind of just slow pace of it really turned me off of the build compared to things like Rapid Fire and Barrage. It's not necessarily that the build is slow at clearing, it's just that it feels slow because you're not shooting multiple arrows like Barrage and Rapid Fire, and that's why Barrage comes in after Rapid Fire here as the, what is this, 4th favorite build so far. And again, similar to Rapid Fire, you kind of have to play this like a melee build because Barrage is more of like a shotgun where you come up to an enemy and you shoot and all the barrage of arrows basically fly right into that target rather than shooting every which way. Also with this, combo points once again, you shoot a ton of arrows. It's extremely fun with shadow imbuement because you can come in, shoot an elite with that barrage, basically kill them with one barrage, and then explode everything with shadow imbuement. I actually really like Barrage, had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, I mean, very similar playstyle to Rapid Fire. The next one, even though I talked about Flurry and how I don't like it, I think it's actually a little bit more enjoyable than Penetrating Shot. Some people stand by their Flurry, and kudos to you. You may enjoy Flurry, you may think it's the best thing in the world. I'm not going to dismiss any of that. For me, though, it's just not my cup of tea. You know, I find that the damage is so much lower than so many other options. Compared to like Twisting Blades, for example, the problem I have with it is that its goal is to AoE clear, right? And while you can min-max it and get some really, really nice upgrades for Flurry here, I actually just swapped off my gloves, which gave a +4 ranks to Flurry. But if you start to get +4 ranks to Flurry, you start to get some really nice close damage upgrades and start maxing out all your glyphs and min-maxing your gear, you can actually clear things pretty quickly. But there does come a point where you cannot AoE elites and groups down, which is really, really unfortunate. And Twisting Blades, that doesn't happen till even later. And Rapid Fire, you know, doesn't have that problem because it's just a single target hit. Same with Barrage, sort of, right? And when your whole kit is just AoEing, right? Well, if you don't do it well, then it's kind of mediocre. And that's just kind of what I found with Flurry. Again, some people may enjoy it, but as per this entire video, it's purely subjective about what has been the most fun. Next one, Penetrating Shots, and probably the last one that I want to mention. Perhaps I'll talk about a couple of the other variations of various different builds, but Penetrating Shot, I just really didn't like this build. A lot of the options make you play like a sniper, and that could be fun. I had a little bit of fun with it as a PvP build. I played a one-shot Penetrating Shot PvP build, and you know, it was fun, but I mean, I'm level 100 and I'm running into tier 4 zones, and there's oftentimes like level 70s, level 80s, level 90s there. I would one-shot them with no matter whatever build I was running. I'd one-shot them. So Penetrating Shot, playing a sniper, one-shotting them there was pretty fun, but again, PvP is such a small part of the game. I didn't find Penetrating Shot particularly enjoyable for farming or even pushing. It's just not the playstyle that I've really enjoyed. I'm not a huge ranged player in terms of the rogue, at least. If I was to play a ranged build, I much prefer something like the Necromancer or the Sorcerer and go ranged that way versus going ranged on the rogue. Because to me, the rogue kind of is that assassin type, jumping in, you know, killing people that way rather than staying far back and playing that sniper. It's just not my thing. You know, a couple other ones that I'll mention here. I did talk about the Trapper a little bit. Full-on Trapper, still excellent, still really, really fun build. And the CC makes it very, very lazy for farming, which is really, really nice. The Shadow Clone copying Rapid Fire. This is kind of a modification on Rapid Fire. I've had a lot of fun with just bursting down single target with Shadow Clone Rapid Fire plus Poison Imbuement. Very, very interesting there. And one other one that I'd like to mention is the Barrage, where was it? The Barrage, like, trap. I try to call this Trapper Barrage combo that I found pretty fun, but that's very niche and very, like, not completed builds that I just ended up trying. I found kind of enjoyable, but outside of those, you know, I've tried a few other ones that I've just either so bad or just so unfun that they're not even worth mentioning for at least my favorites on this list. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I thought this was a fun video because we are approaching that season 1, and if anyone is on the fence about trying a certain build, or perhaps you know, just curious about what might be a little bit more their playstyle, maybe this informed you a little bit, or maybe you just related, or maybe you didn't relate and you hate me because I dumped on your Flurry again, which I know some of you are Flurry enjoyers out there, and I totally appreciate that, but just not like it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.